We all understand how much toxic people affect our mental health and growth. Cutting up toxic people and walking away from negativity are terms used every New Year's Eve in anticipation of the New Year, New Me life. Now, with all that energy for the new year, some people still end up getting into bad, abusive, or toxic relationships because most times they cannot identify toxicity or see the glaring red flags. Most times we can't tell when we are dealing with toxic people, nor how to identify toxic people in our lives. Now, it's more likely that we are just going along with the flow and quoting other people's captions on social media. Proverbs 4, verses 14 through 17 says, "Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk in the way of evil. Avoid it, do not go on it, turn away from it and pass on. For they cannot sleep unless they have done wrong. They are robbed of sleep unless they have made someone stumble. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence." It is easy to see the red flags in the person before getting into a relationship. It is also not difficult. However, people let love blind them from opening their eyes to the things that they should see, the glaring red flags. Another set of people that enter toxic relationships are people with the savior complex, people who think that they can make others change. People who carry this savior complex into relationships end up being ruined and emotionally abused because their partners were never ready to make the decision to become better. So how do you know that you're being negatively affected by another person or yourself? As we go through this list, self-examine yourself and be sure that you don't fall into one or more categories of the toxic people to avoid. Number 1, people who ask you to do things against the Bible standards. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33. It says, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." As Christians and followers of Christ, the Bible contains God's standards for a fruitful Christian life. People who ask you to do things that are not approved by the Bible are toxic people, and you need to let go of them. If you as a Christian have a partner that is constantly talking you out of serving God or building a relationship with God, you should leave that relationship. No relationship is worth the relationship that you have with God. It is obvious that your spiritual values and theirs are not aligned, and you both cannot move forward or fix anything. Research has proven that couples who share the same spiritual intimacy stay longer in their relationships and marriages. So before you enter that relationship, ask real questions, needed questions. If they are not Christ-centric, leave. Do not start with the savior complex mentality because you will be setting yourself up for ruin. Number 2, ungrateful people. Matthew 7 verse 6. "Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them on the foot and turn to attack you." Stay away from people that lack the attitude of gratitude. People that instead of returning your good deeds with appreciation, they turn to use it against you. Some people would rather use your good deeds against you to blackmail you or say bad things about you. And funny how sometimes we ourselves become ungrateful to God or our parents or people that go out of their way to sacrifice something for our satisfaction, whether it's little or big, because we get caught up in our expectations for something bigger and better than what we received. We refuse to forget to serve due accolades. Now, at this point, we become toxic to these people because we project our anger and disappointment on them, leading to ingratitude. As much as we want to cut off toxic people from our lives, we should cut off these toxic traits in us because we, in turn, become toxic to people, thus harming their psychological health. Number 3, emotional abusers. Proverbs 12 verse 18. "That one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." Emotional abusers are people who mess with your emotional and psychological health by using really rash words on you 90% of the time. Stay away from people who talk down on you and make you feel less of yourself. People whose goal in life is to watch you fall, but not just fall, They ruin you with their misplaced choice of words. As important as staying away from toxic people is, guarding your heart against the words of these people is even more paramount. Most times, meeting such people is unavoidable. However, you must make it a duty to never let the things they say get to you and stop you from reaching for your goals. Number 4, gossips. Gossips are people who go about spreading false information about people, speaking only on the flaws of people, and trying to talk them down for personal gains or simply insecurities that they have. People like that only bully or talk down on others because they want what others have but can't get it. The Bible calls such people slanderers. There are so many Bible verses that address gossips and the negative effects of being around them or having them in your business. Proverbs 11 verse 19 says, "With his mouth, the godless man destroys his neighbor, but by knowledge, the righteous are delivered." Staying away from gossips is important, but more important than that is ensuring that there is no gossip in your circle of friends. Gossips will make every news they hear about people spread like wildfire in the Hamilton wind. They don't bother about verifying whatever news they hear. They are cowards who are confident in talking about other people behind their backs. Gossips most likely don't deliver information word for word. They lack integrity and self-discipline. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people." She clearly defined the 3 categories of people in this world. Small-minded gossips are comfortable with mediocrity and settling at the bottom to talk about people and criticize their ideas and innovations. Number 5, envious people. James 3 verse 16. "For where envy and strife are, there's confusion and every evil work." Envy is one attribute that attracts all kinds of toxicity to a person. When one is envious of another, the tendency to commit murder, slander, or suppress the person's progress is very high. They never take responsibility for their action and always find a way of pushing faults to another person. Envious people lack the understanding of times and seasons. They do not understand that there are times, places, and moments for everyone to shine. They always think about their wins, and they are never happy for the people whose wins came before theirs. Envious people are desperate people, that they are in love with quick wealth or success. They'd rather spend their time dragging another down than building up themselves. God bless you.